Hello everybody! This week we are going to be looking at solving inequalities with multiplication and division. We'll start off with a little bit of review. Here are your symbols, your inequality symbols. Less than, greater than. When there is a line under there, it means it's less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to. So that would be included in the number. Again, we're going to do a little bit of review quickly. This is solving inequality using addition. So when you're given an expression such as x minus 3 is less than 5, basically what we want to do is isolate the variable, which means get the letter by itself. So in order to get rid of this subtract 3, we need to do the inverse operation, or the opposite. Okay, so instead of saying to get rid of this subtract 3, we're going to add 3. Whatever we do to one side, we do to the other side. So the negative 3 and positive 3 will eliminate each other, and on this side we're left with 5 plus 3, and then that gives us a answer of x is less than 8. With subtraction, again, it's the same thing. We want to isolate our variable on this side, so we're going to take away 6 here. So whatever we do to this side, we do to that side, and we're left with x is greater than and equal to 4. Now let's move into the new stuff with multiplication. Um, Similar thought pattern here, meaning that we need to isolate the variable once again. So um, we also need to isolate the variable by doing an inverse operation. So as you can see, we have 1 over 2, or 1 divided by 2x is greater than 3. So what we want to do here is do the inverse to get rid of this 2. Okay, so to get rid of this divide by 2, the opposite or inverse operation of that is to multiply. Okay, so multiplication and division are inverse operations of each other. Okay, just like subtraction and addition are inverse operations of each other. So if we multiply 2 by this side, the 2 are going to cancel out, because what would happen here is 2 times 1 will give you 2, 2 divided by 2 gives you 1. So that is just the same as having an x there. Okay, so whatever we do to the left side, we must do to the right side. So if we multiply this side by 2, we must multiply this side by 2. And 3 times 2 gives us 6. Okay? Now let's look at this using division. So for now, just direct your eyes towards this. 3x is less than and equal to 9. So again, we want to isolate our variable. So when you have a coefficient attached to a variable, or in plain language, a letter and a number together, to separate them, we need to divide by whatever number that is, whatever the coefficient is. Okay, so in this case, we've got 3x. So we're going to divide by 3 to get rid of them, and the 3's will cancel out, and we will be left with x. Again, whatever we do on the left, we do on the right side. So we divided by 3. Okay, so 9 divided by 3 gives us the final answer of x is less than and equal to 3. Solving by multiplication of a negative number. Okay, so a very important rule that you must remember here is to remember that when you're dividing or multiplying by a negative number, you must reverse the inequality symbol. So in this case, we have an inequality symbol of negative x is less than 4. When we want to isolate this variable and make it a positive x, we're going to be multiplying by a negative 1. When we multiply or divide by negative numbers, this inequality sign will switch. So in this case, it goes from less than to greater than. Okay, you can see the switch right here. The same rule applies in that whatever we do to the left, we do to the right-hand side. And the next example here, we'll look at dividing by a negative number. So again, we're going to divide each side by a negative number, and then because we did that, we're going to inverse our operations. So we got a negative 2x is less than and equal to 6. So to separate the number and the letter and get x by itself, we're going to divide by negative 2. Okay, because that's what you do when numbers are attached to letters. You divide them to isolate the variable. Because we're dividing by the negative number, we are going to switch our inequality sign. Okay, so it's a very important rule to remember. So when you multiply or divide each side of an equality by a negative number, you must reverse the symbol, okay, to maintain the true statement. And I'm just going to do one more example here, which incorporates some subtraction and division and working with a negative number. Okay, so this is about usually as hard as they get for this unit. So first thing we want to do here, we're going to leave this coefficient and the variable attached for now and just deal with the constants. So we've got a positive 3 over here. So to get rid of that, we're going to take away 3 on this side, which means we take away 3 on this side. Okay, so therefore we're going to be left with a negative 2r on this side is less than and equal to 9 subtract 3 is 6. Okay. Step 2, well, we need to get rid of this negative 2 because we want to get r by itself. So when they're attached like that, we're going to divide by whatever the number is. In this case, that number is negative 2. Okay. So what happens here is that these negative 2's will cancel out, and we're left with r on this side. And because we're dividing by the negative number, we need to flip our inequality sign. So r is greater than and equal to 6 over negative 2, which gives us negative 3. Okay, now if we were to plot that, we put our symbol in here, or our dot in here, and it's going to be shaded in because this means equal to. Okay, and I'll review that in just a minute. And it's greater than negative 3, so we would draw our line like that. Okay, and just to do a quick review of plotting on a line graph here, number line. So you can have a range of answers. So if all real numbers are less than 2, you would circle 2 and then draw your line towards the left because everything less than that will be included in the equality. We don't shade it in, remember, okay? Again, this would indicate that all numbers greater than negative 2 would be correct. And if it's an example where there is an inequality sign with a line in under it, that indicates that it includes the number. Okay, it's equal to. So in this case, it says non-known number is less than and equal to 1. Okay, so all real numbers less than or equal to 1. So what I would do is, actually this is incorrect, we would shade in at 1 and less than and equal to, so anything will be less than or equal to 1. Sorry for that, that's the improper diagram. This one looks correct. So all real numbers in this case, x is greater than and equal to negative 3, so we would shade in the negative 3 and then point our arrow to the right because it's greater than. Okay, so just to sum all that up, we use a shading when it is less than and equal to, for example. Okay, and if it's just greater than or less than, we would leave the dot open, like in this example. Okay, guys, that's it for this week. Good luck. Please do your workbook pages. They'll help you out a lot this week before the test. And come see me if you need extra help. Cheers.